No, not necessarily, but it's coming. It's coming. I mean, just for example, they say that the water is getting much warmer out in Bering Sea. And one of the major ports of distribution and processing is in Dutch Harbor. And that at some point in time, that they're saying within the near future, that that's going to open up as far as the ice pack there in the Bering Sea, where you will have a shipping channel through there, directly through that area, directly through Russia, and in that area going up. And where are the fish going to go? So if the fish are seeking that colder water, then they're going to be, they're going to be going further north, and further north in that Aleutian chain, where they have the primary processing is then done in Dutch Harbor, where you have thousands of workers, and that port there is so busy that they're going to have to uproot all that and move it someplace else. Now, whether that's feasible or not, or when that happens, but it is happening. But and then I got a report here when I was up in Alaska this last week, where the run in Bristol Bay for the sockeyes wasn't happening as of the last. I was up there on the 21st up to about the 23rd of June. There wasn't any fish up there, where that fish run should have been happening and peaking on July 4th, because the water was too cold. Because of the cold water, when they migrate up the stream, the water is warm, so they migrate up the stream, but the water was so cold that the fish weren't coming down, weren't showing. And so what happens is that there were going to be a run, and so it did happen. What happened was that the fish, water finally started to warm up. Fish started showing, but in too large amounts. And the processors couldn't keep up with all the fish that the fishermen were catching, so they had to put the fishermen on limits, and that the fishermen were getting angry because they seen all these fish and they couldn't catch them because they didn't have no place to sell them, and so they were just inundated with this fish. And my question was, to somebody, and I still need to get an answer, what happens when you have all these fish going up the stream? Because it's managed by the North Pacific Management Council, where they allow so much fish to go upstream, because they want to make sure that they don't have to send too many. But what if you get too many up? What happens then? And I haven't got the answer from it, because I know that's happening, because those fishermen aren't allowed to catch those fish that are sitting up there migrating up the stream. And so does that mean necessarily too that the season is going to be prolonged, where the run normally peaks in July 4th? Is it going to go on further into maybe August? It doesn't look like it, but people are getting work, and there's it's probably going to become an average year. But as far as the product itself, the state of Alaska has been good trying to manage the resource, and about 5 years ago they closed down the entire king crab season to let it replenish. And if you've seen that in the stores, like in Costco, they had these humongous crab legs that were selling for $9 a pound. Those are coming from Russia. And so that Russia, since they've opened up their markets, they don't have the knowledge of how to manage their resource, so they're just fishing all that stuff out. But given that this industry has been around for so long, they've learned how to manage that resource, where, okay, if it starts depleting, what are we going to do, and how are you going to set the limits and that. So they've been really good in doing that, as far as trying to, taking into account the climate conditions and changes that are happening. Used to be back in Hood River, and even here in the Columbia River, where we used to just have so much abundance of fish and product, salmon, that used to go, and they even closed down this year. I know that the California coast salmon season, but it was a little bit too late to save those runs. But I think they realized that the cycle and the fish population in Alaska, because it's such one of their biggest resources to their economy, that they're being able to manage that and being able to keep it up. Now, when they negotiate contracts, it's the matter of what the other guy down the street is paying his non-union workers, because the largest chunk of their profits on their bottom line is the wages that they pay their workers and benefits. So that's their biggest cost. So that's a challenge to us in terms of whether the resource is going to go away. I don't think so, because of the climate change. It's just a matter of logistics on what are they going to do. Are they going to close up these facilities? Or are they going to move it? Or I think they've already went through a process of which some of the mom and pop places have closed down, and some of the other bigger employers and packers have bought them up or sold piecemealed a lot of those small plants out. And I think they're at a point now where they're able to accommodate us the amount of product that comes through. But I think that one thing that they have been doing, though, is that they've been considering or have been allowing here in the past few years foreign vessels to be coming into the inside of the 200-mile limit. I noticed last year when I was up in Prince of Wales Island that they had a Russian floating processor with just Russians on there processing pink salmon that's inside. And I know that this year that they had asked the governor to allow some of those foreign flag vessels inside Bristol Bay with that salmon run, which I told you they were complaining about too much fish in there, putting on limits. I'd hate to see that happen. I mean, it's a problem that we're having within the industry, allowing some of these foreign students, foreign vessels coming in to do the work, which I think Americans should have first dibs at. And we're petitioning the Alaska state of Alaska to take a closer look at allowing these processors to get these J-1 visa students in here, because there's enough people, I think, that will be able to do the job, but they're just allowed to do that, to recruit people from other countries to come in and do this. And then to allow these foreign vessels, foreign flag ships to come and process our product and then take it back and then we buy it back from them, I mean, doesn't make a lot of sense. So you can either open up and give some sort of tax breaks or whatever, if you're so inclined to do that, to have somebody else, a U.S. company, process the fish, to allow them to process instead of foreign flag vessel to come in and do it, and then we just buy it back or whatnot. It just doesn't sound right, and I don't think it is right.